Hi, Keith here, and today we're going to be looking at how you can identify termite evidence at a site you're looking at. Now, this doesn't mean you're there looking for termites or looking for termite management. It's not about that. You're at a site doing a cockroach job or a spider job, or you're treating for fleas, or you're doing some rodents, and you happen across something that you think looks like there may be a termite problem. It doesn't have to be, but you think it may be, and you can report that to your client. The idea being is that you're just providing them with some extra service, some extra support should there be an issue. So what we're going to do today is look at the sorts of evidence that you're going to find. This is not about you treating termites. It's not about you doing a termite inspection. This is just about you being able to recognise some of the indications that termites may be there, may have been there, or they may have been treated. Okay, so thanks for joining us in this little episode, and let's go on to it now. Take me a second. I'm just going to put up the PowerPoint because there's going to be lots of photographs. I'm not the important one here. The photographs are, so they'll be large, and I'll just speak over the top, and hopefully you can see everything that's going on. Give me a second. Okay, there we go. Hopefully you're seeing the PowerPoint presentation. So how do you recognise a possible termite problem? Remember, it's not for you to solve or provide advice. It's just so you can inform your client that there may be an issue. So let's look at a few things. First of all, what we have here on the screen is just some plain old timber. But what you can see here, if you can follow the cursor, it's mud pack. And that is what termites work with or work under. They can't expose themselves to our environment, our air. They have to cover it because they like to work in very high humidity and moist areas, and they do not like dry air and sunlight. So they work inside these tubes. They're called mud tubes or mud pack, and that is one of the indications that termites may have been there in the past or indeed may still be there. The mud doesn't have to be always this grey colour. It can oftentimes be the colour of the dirt that's around. So you'll find sandy coloured mud, brown coloured mud pack, grey mud pack, even really dark coloured mud pack. Sometimes the termites have some way of colouring the mud pack as well. So it oxidises, or the glues they use change it in colour, but it's mud pack, and you will see this. If you tick this one here, you'd actually find the termites are actually active on the inside of it. But that's not the point. You don't need to tick it or move anything of it. You just look at it and know, yep, that's mud pack. That means termites have been here in the past or they're here now. If you do open it up and you find some little whitey brown things moving around inside, then the termites are still active and the customer really does need to know about it. But again, it's not your job to find or locate these things. It's just recognise them if you see them. So this is termite mud pack. That's one mud lead. It can be much bigger than that. Now, inside the house, and this is a door frame, and what's happened here is that termites have come up from below this house and they're working their way up behind the door panel here. So here's the architrave around the door, here's the actual door frame, and this is that same mud pack, same style, not the same termites, a different property, but the same mud pack oozing out from this crack. What they're doing is, that would have been a crack in the timber or a crack between the two timbers, so the termites actually mudded it up to reduce the amount of air that moves in behind this timber panel here, where they're actually working, or even if they're working inside the greater area and wall expanse behind here. Not for you to know how far they've gone, where they've come from, or if they're still active or not active, but you can let the client know, your customer, know that you have found something that indicates they may have a problem, and that they should get an expert in to solve it. And now that may be you at some stage or other in the future, or it may be your company right now. So you can organise for it to happen too if you want. So that's mud pack. Again, a very strong sign that termites are there, or at least that they have been there in the past. What you may also find here is that if they've been there for a while, they introduce a lot of moisture into this area, and so this timber down here may be slightly wavy. It may have a wavy indication on it, and that you may see that without the mud pack being here. So wavy timber can also be a bit of evidence that termites are active in the area. Oops, wrong way. Sorry about that. Righto, here we go in the subfloor now, and what you're seeing here is evidence that mud pack has been there, but now it's been removed. So this grey here, this is where the mud, the termite lead, came up this wall. It was from there to there wide, so it's quite thick. It went up this wall, over the ant cap, would have been a big bulge over the ant cap, up here into the timber, and then who knows where into the house. You can still see some of the mud around here and in here. If you see this sort of thing, it again says that termites have been there. This, you would not expect them to still be there, depending on how it was done, who did it, and when it was done. Some people will actually remove the termites thinking it'll make them go away, and all it does is mean they just look for another way of getting in, and this time it's even harder for them to be found. So this is an indication termites have been in the site at some stage in the past. They may or may not be there now, and there may or may not be damage further up. You don't know, you just know that they've been there. And how long ago? Who knows? Here we are in the subfloor again, and we can see here some old termite work pack where the mud again has been removed. And if you look over here, we can see areas where the termites have come really close to the timber surface. And indeed, this one here, the timber's been broken, it's snapped. If you actually, just using your hand or your fingers tapped on this timber here, you would find it would make a funny reverberation sound. It was because it's hollow and the timber is very thin. It's like a veneer over the top of holes or the tubing or the tunnels that termites make underneath it. You can also see some more termite packing up here. Again, it's not for you to go to investigate this. You just see it and you recognise that it's a problem and say to the customer, by the way, this is what I found underneath the house. You need to get someone to have a look at it. Of course, they may say, yeah, we know all about it, but that's not your problem. You are just letting them know that there's something that you found that's not quite right. Again, you're not solving the problem. You're just reporting something that you've seen. So this is in the subfloor. Sometimes it's easy to see, other times it's quite hard to see when the termites have done this sort of thing. This is quite easy, but if that wasn't there and this was still sound, that would probably look like a standard wood. Here again, same subfloor. You can see the mud pack up here, and the termites have done some damage inside the timber. Now this timber is quite hollow in this section here. Very, very dodgy piece of wood. Is it structurally sound? I don't know. I'm not a builder. I'm not even going to think about it. Not your job. You just know that there are termites or have been termites here. Now they weren't active. This is damage that wasn't active at the time. Never get into the habit of saying it's old activity or that it's not active. It's just not active at the time you were looking. If you start that habit now, later on, when you're really doing termite work, it's a good habit not to get into. You can see here, this is sort of some speckledy bits on the timber, and that's quite indicative of some sorts of termites. And I'm not going to go into it, but that's very typical of termites. So if you see this thing like this, and we've got this, and we've got mud pack here, and you'll find there's little bits of daubs of mud in here, and the timber's quite hollow, you're pretty safe in saying that definitely that has been attacked by termites. Are they still there? Don't know, but it definitely has been attacked by termites. If, of course, you've got this and you've got little whitey brown things, about the colour of this timber here, by the way, sort of poking their heads out and running around inside here, then they're active termites. But the fact that there's nothing here doesn't mean termites aren't active. It just means that they're not there at the time that you found this. So be careful with that as well. Okay, let's move to the next one. This is actually a termite nest. This particular type of termite is called an Ashutotermes. That's the genus of termite. And they make nests up inside trees. Now, they will attack a house. They attack decaying timbers a lot, or weathered timbers, probably more the case. And they really like hardwood timbers. They're not so fussed on pines, but they will love hardwood timbers. And they're relatively easy to see. They're not a hidden termite. They'll walk straight up the outside of a wall. Inside the mud tubes, their pack is quite dark in colour. And as you can see, these nests are quite dark in colour as well. So not that light brown colour. These termites also, if you've ever been around them, they actually also have quite a distinctive smell. So you can smell these guys. The fact that they're up a tree doesn't mean the house is attacked or even being attacked. It just means that they're in the vicinity. And if it's close to the house, then the person should be aware that, there's a termite nest up that tree that's in your backyard. Do you want to have a termite inspection? And you may be able to organise that through your company. Or if you're qualified, you can actually do it yourself once you're qualified to do that. So that's a termite nest. One that you'll probably find around the suburban or urban areas, or at least the outer urban areas. Don't think you're going to find termite mounds popping up in people's backyards. They get rid of them reasonably quickly. But these oftentimes are not recognised. And so they may be in the bushland behind the house, in the little bit of bushland next door, in the park. So that's another sign that termites may be active, not in the house, but in the vicinity. And so the person should be aware of them. Here we go up inside a roof void. And here, the termite area is down the base here, along the base, and then up in this piece of timber here. And this timber's wavy. The termites have been into it. You can see where in here, the timber doesn't exist anymore. So there's a bit of wood that used to be there that the termites have taken away. So the timber has disappeared. How would you know that it's termites? Well, remember what I said last time on a couple of slides ago? Yep. The inside here, you can see the little bits and pieces of mud. You can't see them here, but where this photograph was taken, when you were there in person, you can see the speckledy bits here, and you can see termite mud around here, and you can see here where the timber, bits of it, is still there, but the rest of it has gone. That is evidence that termites have been up in that roof and done some significant damage in that area. This timber next to it here has also been damaged, but you can't see it in the photograph, but it's actually quite hollow. So this is damaged. The termites active at this particular site? No, they weren't, but they had been there in the not too distant past. And so this is a problem. You can make the customer aware of it and let them know you found damaged timber in the roof. Perhaps they should get a builder to have a look at it just to make sure that everything's hunky-dory. If they know about it, fine. If they didn't, then you might have helped them. Back in the subfloor again, and you can see here the termite lead. Hopefully you saw that pretty much straight away, moving up the outside of this brick pier. Now this is quite important here because this is an ant cap. It's an old house. Actually, this house is quite old. It's been sort of 1920s variety house. And here, there's the ant cap. And this looks like the ant cap has stopped the termites. Indeed, the ant cap is not there to stop termites getting in. What it's there to do is that the termites, believe it or not, actually go up through this pier. And when they get to this ant cap, they'll have to come out and around. So here, you can see them. But when the termites try to get past the ant cap, there's a big mud ball goes on here, about the size of, can be as small as a golf ball or as big as a tennis ball, packed over that metal ant cap, and that exposes the termites. So that if they've had to come out from inside the pier out here, you'll see the ball. Otherwise, you'll see this plus the ball on a ball of mud at the top of that ant cap. So you can see from quite some distance that the termites are there, or have been there, or are still there right now. Again, it's an indication that termites have been or are a problem. Don't go mucking around with any of these things, because if you start disturbing it, and poking at it and touching it and trying to do things that you shouldn't be doing, just looking at it, you can actually disturb the termites and they'll go away. Now, that doesn't mean they go away forever. They just go away. So if someone's going to try and come and treat them, you may have disturbed them enough for treatment not to be effective for the short period, and that they have to wait for the termites to recongregate in the area before any treatment can be done. It is not your job to find out if the termites are active. Are the termites active? I don't know. Don't care. I found evidence that they've been here. The customer didn't know about them. They should get it checked. Okay, so there are some things that you need that will help you identify if termites have been active in an area at any particular point in time. Not now, not yesterday, could have been last year, could have been 10 years ago, they may still be there right now. But what about signs of a termite treatment? How do you know if the place has been treated for termites? Again, it's not really that important for you, but you may need, someone may ask you, your customer go, look, I saw this, can you tell me what it is? Well, these few slides are going to sort of give you some ideas of the things you're going to see that says some termites have been active at this place and someone's had something done about it. It's highly likely. First one, got a concrete floor. This one happens to have tiles on it, and you can see here there are marks in the floor. Now, you can see they're quite regular, and what you would find if this camera was taken further away, that about every 15 centimetres around this floor edge, there is one of these marks. That says to an experienced termite manager, someone's done a drilling injection of chemical under the concrete slab here, and that's probably was done for termites. Now, there may be some other reason for it. I can't think of what it is, but certainly if it's pest control, someone's had a termite job done here. And these are the scars where the drill holes were, the chemical was injected, and then the holes were re-cemented. Sometimes you'll find, and this is because it's a dressed floor. Other times, if it's not such a dressed floor, they'll actually put little plugs in there, which may or may not be coloured, little plastic plugs. But when it's a dressed floor like this, it's usually cement goes back in because it's less visible. Even though it's very visible, it's less than having a green plug or a white plug stuck in the floor. So that tells you that there's been a chemical treatment. It doesn't tell you when it was, it doesn't tell you what the chemical was, and it doesn't tell you whether it was because the termites were active or the person was just worried about them. But it does tell you that a termite management system has been put in there, and they should investigate that. This one here, this little plastic box on a windowsill or a window frame. What's that there for? Well, that is a bait box. And what's going on there, it's called an above ground station. It's one of the termite baiting systems. And inside that box, there will be a paste, a damp paste, and the termites are actually, it's put on an area where the termites were found to be active, and the termites are actually moving into that box to feed. So, is it a good thing or a bad thing? Well, it means that termites were definitely active when that thing went there. It means that they could still be active at this point in time and they're still feeding in there. If you find one of these, do not touch it. If the termites are active and you start to fiddle around with it, you may make them disappear and they'll just go away. And they may or may not come back. It would be unusual for you to find one of these on a site and not know about it, but you may find something like this inside a roof void that was just left there and forgotten about. If it's here like it is on a windowsill or a window frame, then it's probably it's still actually active, because if the termites have been removed and they've gone and the nest has been collapsed for some period of time, that would have been taken away. But if you find anything like this, it means that termites have at some stage been active there and either still are active and still feeding, or they've just left it up in some out-of-the-way area and have forgotten about it. But it's meant that termites have been at this site. They've been at least as far as that box there. They may still be there, or they may not. Not for you to know. But you can raise the issue with your customer or ask them about it if you wish. And finally, this one, outside, this is actually this is a monitoring device, and what it is, it's a stainless steel cap, and it's in the concrete. If you remove that cap, underneath you would either find some bits of timber shoved in the ground, inside or outside of a bait station, or you would find a bait feeding rod where it's a bait in the ground for termites to find and feed on. But every 3 metres or so, you'd find one of these things in the concrete if the house had a baiting system around the outside. So it again is another indication there's been some termite work here. This one may just be a monitoring system. It may have nothing to do with active termites. It just may be a system whereby the site is being monitored. That the person goes here every 3 months or so and has a look and goes, yep, there's nothing active today. We'll be back in 2 or 3 months or whatever it might be, and check it out again. So that is telling you that there's not been termites active, but the people here at the very least were concerned and so therefore put the system in, or they have had termites and the system was put in as part of the management process on the day of the termites, or either eliminating the termites or into the future as trying to make sure that they don't get termites back again. So there we go. That's it for this particular one. Pretty short, sharp and breezy. It's not designed to make you termite experts. It's just so that you can see things and go, ah, I know what that's about. I know that means termites are here now or have been here, and I may wish to actually indicate something to my client. They've never talked about termites. I might ask them and see what they think. What does it do for you? It means that you become quite a good pest controller. You actually are managing their pests. You're not providing them with anything more than you should be able to do. You've recognised something and given them some advice to get an expert in. Do not, unless you've got the termite qualifications, do not try and handle these. Do not try and find out if they're active or not active. Just leave them well and truly alone. Advise the client that you've found something, and then advise your boss or your supervisor. They may be able to help out as well. But certainly do not try and treat these things. Do not put chemical near them, and don't go any further than just happening across what you've happened and about. Don't fiddle with it, because you may do more harm than you do good. So that's just a warning from me to you. Anyway, good luck with that. If you've got any questions, send me an email or give us a call and we can go further. Great. Thank you very much, and I'll see you later.